Hi, I'm your Kingdom Spiritual Transformation and Life Purpose Life Coach and Mentor, Latricia Booker. And now I'm popping in on you to tell you no going back and no apologies for moving forward. There is no going back and no apologies for moving forward. And so, Kingdom people, I want to leave this message with a couple of scriptures. And the first one is Psalm 48 and 14. And it says, "For that is what God is like. He is our God forever and ever, and he will guide us until we die." And so here you see that God is the one who guides us. He's the one that leads us, and he says that he will do so until we die. Well, God will guide us until we die, that is. Then Psalm 73, 23 through 24 says, "Yet I still belong to you. You hold my right hand. You guide me with your counsel, leading me to glorious destiny." And so, Kingdom people, we belong to God. He holds our right hand, and he guides us with his counsel, and he leads us to a glorious destiny. And so here's the thing, Kingdom people. You've walked away from some situations, some circumstances, some places, but for the most part, you walked away from people. And some people may have even walked away from you prematurely. But that's a good thing because when people can walk away from you, if they should have been there, if there was purpose there, but they just didn't see it or get it or whatever was going on with them, that's a good thing for you because, what that means is that they would have been problematic. And so I'm reminded of T.D. Jakes and how he says when people can walk away from you, let them go. Because I promise you, those same people that walk away from you prematurely or when there was something there for them, they gonna want to come back. They gonna want to come back, regardless of whether it's for good or for bad, or regardless of where they're at, should I say. Because people tend to want to come back for benefits, what they can get from you, what they can benefit from you. And so anyhow, Kingdom people, here's the thing. You've walked away from some people, maybe some people walked away from you, and they may want to rekindle some things. And the issue is that there is no going back. Once it's done, it's done in these cases. And many times it's because these are people who were not for you. They didn't have good intentions for you. They may have been an enemy to you. These are people that don't want to see you prosper, don't want you to do well, maybe even try to sabotage you. And so here's the thing, you can't go back to that. Anything that God has removed you from, not always, of course, but of course, put these things in its proper perspective. When God tells you to walk away from somewhere, you become aware that something is not good for you, you let it go and you move forward. It's called forward movement, not going back movement. Going back is the same thing as like a dog returning to lick up his vomit. It's the same thing. And so, Kingdom people, you're moving forward. You have to continue to move forward. And the thing is that you don't have to apologize for that. God is guiding you and he's leading you to your glorious destiny. And there's no apologies for you moving forward with your life. And I say that because some people want an apology from you. They feel like you're doing them wrong because you're not coming back and you're moving forward with your life as you should. But because I'm going to say it like this, what they planned for you didn't work out the way that they thought it would. And when I say what they planned for you, the not good things are hindering you, the holding you back, sabotaging you, keeping you from moving forward with your life because that didn't work out for them the way that they thought they would, that they thought it would. It's like they don't want you to move forward. And it's in some instances, they feel like you owe them something because again, what they tried to do to you, I know this sounds crazy because it is, but this is how these kind of distorted people think. They think distorted. They're delusional is what I'm hearing. But, the thing is, Kingdom people, it's no going back. It's no going back. And there is no apologies for you moving forward. You have a right to move forward. I was reminded this morning of a situation. It was several years ago, about 4 years ago. And at the time, it was my first time traveling out of the country. And I had left my daughter with someone, and I hadn't really told no one that I was going where I was going except for the person that I left my daughter with. And my daughter happened to mention it around some other people that they were around. And so that's kind of how they knew. Otherwise, they wouldn't have known because I wasn't sharing any of that. And so I had so what happened was when I got back and I was around these people, because again, I left my daughter with this one particular person, and this person that I left her with tended to be around these other people, and that I was very familiar with. So anyhow, when I got back, we all got together, and kind of the first thing that came out of one of their mouths is, "Oh, you a international traveler now," or whatever. And I went with it, and kind of shared how it was and everything. But one of them had they were kind of paranoid and scared as to they were acting really weird, put it like that. You know how people try to act cool, but you can see, no, y'all tripping. But I went with it. I just paid attention. I observed. I was very aware of what was happening. And so I'm saying all that to say that God brought to my attention again this morning. He brought all that back to me. And what he recently revealed to me, at the time, I thought it was more so about the person that I was with. And a concern for me entering into a God-ordained marriage or relationship, which it was about that too. But what God recently revealed to me overall was that he allowed things to go that way, and he actually orchestrated that whole thing so that can transpire, so that I could see their reactions. And what God, again, recently revealed to me was that it wasn't just about that man and them feeling a certain kind of way, because I don't want to say for some reason, I came to learn that these people didn't want me to be in a loving, healthy relationship. What they really didn't want was for me to be with my God-ordained spouse. Because these are people who were never with their God-ordained spouse, and neither are they right now. They often they doing their own thing. They wasn't allowing God to lead them in that way, in many ways, actually. But anyhow, they knew that it was possible that that's what was happening here. And so at the time, I just saw it as, he must be my God-ordained spouse, the way they reacted. And in fact, there was that possibility. And I say that possibility because just because God brings two people together don't mean one or the other ain't gonna mess some stuff up, or both. It happens a lot. You have to also cooperate, and you also have to deal with those inner things that need to be dealt with as God is bringing you together, or whatever God is doing. Not trying to go too much into that, but I'm saying all that to say that recently God made me aware that they also tripped out because I had traveled outside of the country. And that was a big deal to them, because they had a thing where they were always trying to keep me small. I mean, I was somewhat aware of, how people used to say, or they probably still do. I've heard ministers and pastors and preachers say, they told you wasn't going to make it. They told you would never be nothing. And I always had this thing, even growing up, that they weren't saying that, but I was aware that they were thinking that way. Well, later in life, I came to find out it wasn't so much they didn't think I would be anything. They didn't want me to be. So they were, don't want to go too deep into it, but, they were doing certain things to try to prevent me from becoming, someone great. They wanted to keep me small. And some of the things that were done was spell work, and black magic, or whatever, all that stuff that they do. I'm hearing witchcraft. But there were also things done in the physical, those slack comments and those little things, little things that people do and say to try to break your spirit and bring you down, which never worked. I was just always aware that that's what they were trying to do. And I also knew they had some issues just for trying to do that. But anyhow, so the whole point of me saying all this is that ain't no going back to that. And so the thing is that, of course, I had to walk away from these people, and I'm moving forward, and there's no apologies for moving forward. So in essence, what I'm saying is, because the people didn't get away with what they were trying to do, and because you're moving forward, some of these people feel like you owe them an apology, and they want you to come back. They want you to come back around. Again, their plan did not work, what they thought they were doing. And like I said, these are some people that have been doing this stuff towards me since childhood. They had a plan in place that they felt that would keep me from moving forward. So they were blown away because I traveled outside of the country, because that was a sign to them. Oh my goodness, she's doing something outside of the ordinary, because that's nothing mediocre. People do it. Obviously, people do it, but they weren't expecting that from me, because that's not what they had put in place for me. And it startled them. They were afraid, because it's kind of like they felt like their plan, what they had in place for me, was falling apart. But it was never really truly working. They just didn't realize that. And so, yeah, Kingdom people, that pretty much wraps it up. I'm sorry for saying Usually means you're trying to find some words. I kind of am. I'm just trying to make sure that I'm saying everything that I need to say in this message. But the whole thing is that if you walked away from some people that don't mean you no good. Ain't no going back. Nah, again, they may want you to come back. See, people sometimes want you to come back so they can finish the job off. And sometimes they just really remorseful because, again, they plan didn't work. And because you're moving forward and God is elevating you, unfortunately, they want to be a part of that. They can't be a part of what they tried to stop and block, what they didn't want to happen. Make that make sense, please. Please make that make sense where you can't. So, Kingdom people, I'm just here just to say, ain't no going back. I know you know, but ain't no going back. And ain't no apologies for moving forward. You don't need to apologize for moving forward when God is the one guiding you. Until you die, He got your right hand. He counsels you, leading you to a glorious destiny. What you apologizing for? Because God is leading you to a glorious destiny. You're moving forward. Ain't no apologies for moving forward, Kingdom people. Kingdom people, there's no going back and no apologies for moving forward. And that is all I have to say about that. Kingdom people, please go ahead and like this video. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. Thank you. Please click on that bell so that you can receive a notification every time I upload a new video. Kingdom people, I really appreciate you for being here. I appreciate all that you do here on the channel. And I really do love you. I really don't want to leave you, but I do have to go right now. But I will be back to hold my Kingdom people down. Now, Kingdom people, above all else, let the Holy Spirit lead you in all things at all times. We are still unmovable. We are still untouchable. We are still unstoppable. We are still unbreakable. I wanted to say unstoppable. We are unstoppable too. They can't stop us. Kingdom people, that is my time. Jesus girl is out. Peace.